Hello, fellow family activists, and maybe the 90 million who did not vote. Cathy Perez here, your wellness coach and fellow family activists, and we are here to give a recommendation. So, as we do, we like to go into our positive quotient repetitions or PQ reps, positive quotient repetitions or PQ reps. It's a way to center yourself so that you receive information in sage mode, or at least hopefully feel a little bit less stress. So if you feel safe, and only if you feel safe, please close your eyes. I will do so. And wherever you're at, you can be laying down, you can be seated, sorry, or standing as I am. But I want you to think about growing your tallest spine. Okay, think about being tall. So that means elongating that spine. Go ahead and roll your shoulders back. And all I want you to do is feel your breath, not change it, just notice it. Just notice your breath. What's moving? What sensation do you feel? Now let's go ahead and move down the body to our feet. I want you to, again, even if you're laying down, you can put your feet on the surface that they're on. Ground down all four corners of your feet. And again, elongate your spine from that. And feel how your feet literally have to balance, even if you're laying down, how they're positioned, how they're using their senses, right? All those nerve endings. What sensations are moving through your feet, into your legs, up into your spine. If you're standing, you can definitely feel the difference between the two feet. Go ahead and try to lift your toes and spread them. Spread your toes, even if you have shoes on. And then keep them spread and push them down. And you should really feel this elongation, like you should feel more grounded. And this time, with our breath, I want you to actually take a long inhale through your nose, and then I want you to sigh it out. Okay, so here we go. Inhale, use up all your lung space, and now exhale with a sigh. Every last bit of that air. One more time. Inhale it through your nose. A little more. And now exhale. Go ahead. Blink your eyes open. I know I feel even more calm, so that was good. All right, so our recommendation today, it's a juicy one in the fact that a lot of people don't think about that this could actually bring about more calm and ease to your life, but it really can. So again, I'm a wellness coach, right? So this is the stuff I think about. But I'm also an activist, and I know what it means to be out, right? Organizing. I know what it's like to be out in the sun. I know what it's like to have a lot of materials in your hands and trying to juggle it all as you're walking from one place to another. And because I'm a wellness coach, I understand the necessity of being prepared. Okay. My time is the most precious resource ever, and it should be the same for you. And why would I say that? I don't know you, right? But guess what? We all have a finite time on this earth. And I know for a fact that none of you want to spend it needlessly in tasks that we don't really particularly like. Okay. So my recommendation today is about meal prepping and or planning to help you free up your time. Now, how does this relate to, like overall wellness? Well, here's the thing. When I actually was given this task, again, it came from my previous my first and ever uh, coach coach of fitness or fitness coach. And it was a month program. And one of the like necessities of this program was that I got to meal prep. I had never meal prepped quite like that before. I literally had enough food, literally, for almost a month that I had created and then made, obviously, stored them in the freezer so that when I needed them, they were ready. I can honestly tell you, even by just meal prepping for that first week, okay, I saved myself literally 3 to 4 hours not having to deal with any type of food preparation. Okay. Like I'm single. Okay. I don't have little people around me who need me to feed them. I don't have a spouse. And yet I saved myself, someone who has all the free time in the world, right? 3 to 4 hours, quite literally. Okay. So like every day I had an extra like 3 hours that I could just use however I wished. Do you know how remarkably uh, relaxed I was? Not only could I then concentrate on getting healthier, right? And learning this new habit, okay, of meal prepping, but it then gave me free time that I didn't realize I could have. And I went crazy, right? So meal prep, okay, meal prep and or plan. Meal planning, the difference between meal prep, right, and meal plan. The plan is writing it out or, figuring out what you're going to have. And then the meal prep, obviously, is the actual creating of the meals. Now, we have, back then, we didn't have as many. This is back in 2016. And, I believe there was HelloFresh. I believe, there was other ones. But, it was a situation where I didn't have necessarily the extra funds to ask someone to make all this food for me. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll make it myself. And guess what? Yeah, it took, quite some time in that first initial week, but then I got the hang of it. And again, I almost did not cook for like a whole month. It was amazing. So meal planning, okay, and meal prep can be all in one if you do decide to use, again, some type of service. That's fine. If you can do that, I would say go for it. Like, think about your labor, okay, when you are cooking anything. That's labor. You are basically whatever you make on an hourly basis, okay, at your work, wherever that's, your own self-profession, whether you have a career somewhere else, that you work for, whatever that is, however you make your money, however much you charge for an hour, that's how much you get to think about when you are setting aside time to meal prep, right? And to create your food, your meals. So if you don't want to take that time, guess what? Put that money then that you would have otherwise used, okay, by making it, and then give it to, whatever organization you want to make your meals. That's fine. But you will find that you have saved yourself time and, believe it or not, money. Why is that? I love my family. I love them so much. But they waste so much food. I love them. Now, when I say family, again, I don't have my own family, but I have obviously parents, or at least, our mom has since gone to heaven. And so we have one parent, my three sisters and I. All right. So there's four sisters in my family and then our dad. So when I say family, I mean my immediate family, right? And let me tell you, I go to their homes often, for various reasons. They waste so much food. I love them to death, and they know this. So I'm not like squealing on them. I'm not, tattling on them. They know, like it drives them nuts that they waste food. And the same goes for most of you out there. If you're not meal planning, at least, you're not giving your wallet the accommodation of pre-planning. Okay, if I'm going to go to the store, right? If I at least have my meals planned, then I can go to the store and they only get what I really truly need and require to then make the meals, right, throughout the week. And that's where a meal prep service can really come in handy. Most of them, I believe, only, will prepare, let's say, dinners, right? And that makes sense. Most people are willing to take the time to make something quick, let's say for breakfast. And a lot of people, unfortunately, still will go out somewhere to eat. But even if you were to, put that all into in a service plan, you're probably actually going to be making, again, it's the time that's most valuable, right? It may cost a little more to have that meal service, create more meals other than just your dinners, but needless to say, right? You are still actually saving time, which is your most important resource. I can argue with this all day long. You might say, well, no, mom, most important resource, is my family. Guess what? They love you and I love my family, but no, my time on earth is finite. Like my time with my family will end at some point. So time is not just a commodity that we all take for granted. No, it is a resource that I value. It is a precious resource. It is the most important resource, and we don't want to waste it. And so meal prepping, okay, as a female activist, as maybe the 90 million that did not vote, and now you understand why it's so important to vote, and that now you're going to get more activated, which means you're going to have less time to cook. Do whatever you got to do, but meal prep and meal planning really come in handy. You know, some people don't like to eat breakfast. Some people don't eat maybe but 2 times a day. Unfortunately, they're insecure. There are, food insecure families. Maybe they only eat one meal a day. I get it. So what I'm trying to tell you is however you can save money, right? And most important, time, get to it. So however you need the push, I am huge, okay, when it comes to being able to create habits and then be consistent with them. I am the queen of consistency, I would say, in most cases. But you know what? Reach out to me. All right. You're talking to the person who, oh my goodness, she walked for 2 years straight consecutively every single day. Yeah, I did that. I gave myself the New Year's resolution in 2022, okay, to walk every day for a mile at least. Minimum was a mile. I did that. And then because I made the mistake very early on, the second day of 2022, and had my watch, my new Garmin, unfortunately in kilometers and not set to miles, I said, oh my gosh, I really did not walk a whole mile that first day. So I made it up, right? I changed my watch to the miles. I added in those extra miles on the second day, and I'm like, well, crap. Now I haven't really technically walked a whole mile for the whole year each day. So I went ahead and punished myself, but in a good way. And I walked in 2023 every single day. Yeah. So that's me. I'm like the queen of consistency. So I know how to become consistent and to get a habit to stick. Meal prepping came very easy to me because I realized how much time I was going to save very quickly. It is so easy. And you can make it fun. You can easily, get your whole family involved. Maybe you have outside family members, right? Like maybe you have siblings that want to try this with you. Put your especially right now because of how high all the prices are, you could get, right, your family members together and say, hey, let's meal prep for a week and see how much money we can save. You come together on a weekend or whenever that works for you, and then you create all these meals. But because you collectively made these meal plans together, you have more buying power. And now you can obviously, right, share the wealth. You'll have more food to go around. So there are different reasons and different ways to make meal prep and meal planning very easy and very affordable. I would even say that it actually is more affordable because, again, as I said earlier, when you plan ahead, you don't go and waste your money on items that you otherwise won't use, and then they go to waste. So right now, when you know for a fact that everything is more expensive, give yourself the grace and say, okay, I don't necessarily, want to have to, make all this food, but maybe I will use and try it out. Let's say for, just a month, see how a meal prep service works for you or meal service, meal plan, meal service, or, organization will work for you. Maybe, again, you take one of the ideas of bringing more people together and then you collectively create these meals. Just try something because I can honestly tell you, even if it is just planning out your own meals, you will save money because you're not going to be wasting any food. All right. So, with that, that's the recommendation. Meal plan, meal prep. It will not only save you a lot of money, but it's going to save you your most important resource, which is your time. Okay. And with that, I will see you next time around. Until next month, so to speak, for the recommendations at least, take care, take charge. God bless.